Hello and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn. Today we are going to be looking at altering a mass-produced piece. It's something that I've done a few times with a few pieces in this range, and I know that they are the sort of pieces that are available to a lot of people. So I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to look at giving it a makeover suitable for my aesthetic, but also give suggestions of how you could change a similar piece to suit any aesthetic that you like. The piece that I'm looking at working on today is this dressing table, vanity table, beauty station, whatever you want to call it. This is the traditional sort of dressing table that at one time a lady would have in her bedroom for all her little pots and so forth. And she'd sit in front of the mirror and make herself beautiful, whatever beautiful was by the standard of the day. Now this is one of these pieces of furniture that I bought in the UK from the range, and when I bought it, which was some time ago, it cost me £1. I know that they sell similar furniture from the Dollar Tree, and they're probably available on places online. I don't know because I haven't looked. Now I have actually had this one open because there's a real mirror on this one, and I've covered it up because my light is up above where I film, and I don't want to blind you with reflective light so that you can't actually see what's going on. So that's all that's happened there, is I've just covered the mirror up, because as I say, it's a real mirror. It's not just a piece of slightly reflective plastic. Now, as I say, these are now more than £1. I'm not sure if they have gone up to £1.25 or even £1.50 here in the UK. I have seen pieces in the range recently, but it is, quite frankly, rough. It is basic white wood construction. The drawers are non-functional. I know people have made the drawers functional, and if you want to do that, fair play. I don't feel the need in this instance, but it does actually look like you could do it fairly easily, because there is actually a shelf underneath there. So you just need to make a little fake drawer and prise that off first. But actually you probably would need to then cut a drawer space. I don't know if it's worth it. You've got more indications of drawers up there underneath the mirror, and it's not very straight. Now, one thing people complain about a lot with this furniture is that it's not 1/12 scale. It isn't, strictly speaking, and I have in the past taken legs off of pieces and extended them and things like that to try and make it look a bit more like it belongs. However, this time I'm not going to worry, because dressing tables used to be lower than a desk. I can remember family members having dressing tables when I was a child that had been passed down the family, as furniture used to be, you know. You might have furniture from parents passed to children, or from grandparents passed to children. And the dressing tables, I remember, were considerably lower. They came with a low stool that you sort of perched on. They weren't comfortable. It wasn't designed for comfort. It was designed for this sort of, dare I say it, outdated aesthetic of feminine beauty. Because this was definitely a female piece. However, you know, I'm not going to judge that on how we see things now, and if anybody wants a dressing table with lots of lotions and potions, fair enough. This is obviously different woods. You can see that by the different colours, which means that if I try and stain it, it's going to come out a little bit uneven. If I try and paint it, I will get a better coverage. So I will probably go with a paint finish. Not sure what colour yet, but I'm going for the Gothic aesthetic, so there's probably going to be some black in there. If not as the top coat, then certainly as a bottom coat, a base coat. What I'm thinking is remove these wooden drawer handles, because there's no handles on those, and I think I have some of these knocking about somewhere, but I think I'd rather make some new ones, find something to make some new ones, and put some drawer pieces on there, and then maybe look at seeing what bits I've got that I can dress it with to make it look significantly Gothic. I've got a few ideas. I've always got a few ideas. They just tend to move around. I know this isn't what some of you like to see, but it's what I want to do. And I'm going to keep making videos that make me happy. I've had a lot of issues in my life just lately. I haven't been completely well since before Christmas. There is a lot going on in, as I call it, real life that is impacting on my ability to do the miniatures. And it's impacting on my sort of enthusiasm for the miniatures. So if there's something I want to do, I'm going to do it. And if you don't like my videos for whatever reason, whether it's because I talk a lot and I don't get on with it, well, don't watch them. I don't care. You know, I don't make anything out of this. I've not yet got to a point where I qualify for any of YouTube's schemes. I don't put lists of things that you can buy so that I can get some kind of kickback by doing that. I just make minis for people that like minis, and hopefully inspire some of them along the way. And I also do it because I have problems, as I've said before, with speaking to people. I suffer terribly with anxiety to the point at which it renders me mute. The fact that I can do this and I can know that, you know, over 100 people watch a video, that's amazing. When the same video is watched by several thousand people, that's even more astonishing. But I'm doing what I want. And like I say, if it's not to your taste, go and find somebody that makes a video in fast forward with music over it and you can't actually understand what they're doing. I might not show all the steps all the time because things go wrong. Footage gets screwed up. There's the simple truth. I screw up bits. I intend to do bits in front of the camera and it gets screwed up. That is what I mean when I say real life gets in the way. It gets in the way of this, my actual time for filming, which is limited. And hey-ho, I'm going to make what I like, and if you like it too, bonus. Okay, first update, I have put some black paint on it and it looks far better already because you can't see all the different tones of wood, the different kinds of wood. Now this is just one coat of black paint. I'm debating at the moment what to do with it. I'm debating whether to give it another coat of black paint so that it will actually be black, and then dry brush it with another colour so that there is another colour on the edges and things like that, so it looks like it's been deliberately done like that. whether to leave it like this and put a coat of a colour over the top and then sand it back. I'm thinking I might just go for the first. Black is definitely more within my aesthetic. Now obviously, if you've got a piece like this and you want to paint it, you can paint it any colour you want. I do think that painting it makes it look a bit more together, because the different kinds of wood do look a bit obvious, especially when you've got one that's lighter and one that's darker, as you add with the mirror and the little drawers underneath. But you could paint it any colour you wanted. You could go for a full-on shabby chic look, use some crackle glaze, crackle medium. I don't get on very well with that, I've got to be said, and this paint's still wet and I just stuck my finger in it. Wonderful. But you could experiment. I know that there's one way you can do it, and you're supposed to be able to get smaller cracks, which would be more suitable for a piece of this scale, obviously. Or you can go for the paint one colour, paint another colour over, and gently sand the edges so that it comes through. Or as I'm going to do it the other way. I have also decoupaged furniture. In the past, I've done some with some paper with spider's webs on, which I did for my witch's cottage, which I love that effect. Wouldn't work so well on this because obviously the pieces I could get were a lot bigger, but you could do it more like I did my my blanket box, with pieces sized and printed accordingly. It all depends on the look you want. You always know with me it's going to veer towards the spookier side of things, so that's what I'm going for. So I think I'm going to let this dry off properly, wash the paint off my hands for now, and then once it's dry I can put another coat on, and we'll come back and we'll have a look at adding some paint around the edges. I'm thinking maybe I've got a metallic purple that might just add a little bit of a nice sheen to it and still keep that kind of gothic-y, spooky vibe going, because, well, why not? The piece has had 2 coats of black paint and it is ready to move on. Now, I could have added some extra details by using some beads or some die cut pieces, but to be fair, I didn't want to on this, so I'm just going to do some paint and then we'll take it from there. I am going to go with the metallic purple colour. It's a paint that I've had for a while and I've used it a couple of times, but it's always handy for something else. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sort of dry brushing. Now, everybody that does this sort of thing will have done dry brushing if they do aging, and you want very little paint. And I've actually got some paper towels here and I'm going to remove most of the paint, and I just wanted to put a very small amount along the edge of my piece in the first place. I'm doing it along the edge so that I can assess whether I like it or not. Now, what I tend to do is I tend to pick up some more paint off the paper towel, and I'm just going to, and I quite like that. If I continue this around this front corner, As I say, I'm doing it in a small area because if I have to repaint it because I don't like it, it's not so bad. You really don't want to get one of your big panels, your front or something, and just go woof, 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 and then realise that actually it looks awful. But I am actually going to just put some on the top because I think that is going to look quite good. Now I'm going to go off now and I'm going to sit here for a while painting it with this metallic paint, over painting it, and I'll come back and I will show you what we've got, and hopefully it'll be good. Now I don't know how well this is showing up, but I ended up going all over the piece with the metallic purple, and I really like it. I think it looks suitably spooky. It's got a little bit of a kind of kitschness to it. It looks worn, it looks aged. I like it. So I think I'm going to go with this. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to apply a coat of matte Mod Podge. Now when I was painting it, I really like the sort of gloss that the wet paint had. I don't want it shiny, but the matte Mod Podge gives it a sort of semi-sheen, not as much as the actual gloss kind does. Do not use matte Mod Podge if you want a matte finish, because it isn't. It's matter than gloss, but it's not really matte. So that's my next job, is going to be a coat of that, just to protect it. And then we're going to look at what I can use for the drawers. Obviously I need 6 little handles. I'm going to cover these up. So I'm thinking it's going to be beads of some description, something like that. But obviously not too big because I need to use the same on there. So I'm going to put the Mod Podge on, and then I'm going to have a look for some suitable handles. What I have found to make the handles are actually these little beads here. Now they are a fairly flat bead. If I lift one up to the camera you can see it. It's fairly flat and they're decorated. I bought them to make miniature pots and things in 1/48 scale, but I think they're going to look like those quite grand big handles that you sometimes get on older pieces of furniture. Now, because obviously they're a bead, so there's a hole through them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill inside the hole. And I was looking for my black enamel effects, which is around here somewhere, and I haven't located it, but I did find this purple 3D pearl effects, and so by applying that with a cocktail stick I've actually been able to fill the holes. So what I did is I glued the beads into place. Now when I do this I always put the glue on first and then position the bead afterwards. It just means that you can get it in the right place because you can put the glue where you want it. And then I filled the holes with a little bit of the purple, and as you can see they look quite quite fancy actually, and I do rather like this. I am liking this effect. And I've got a feeling I've done this effect on something before, the black and then a metallic colour over the top. Can't remember what. I can't see anything that it could possibly be, but I do like it, and yeah. So that's a very simple way of doing the handles. You could make your own handles. You could fill the holes that are under there, and then you could put a handle that's got 2 fastenings and the bit that you pull across, which you can make out of wire. You could put pieces of cardstock over the top to create a false drawer front. I could have turned this from a 3 drawer front to a 1 drawer front or 2 drawer front. It would have all been possible. But as I say, you could do this shabby chic quite easily. Some little wooden beads would be great for doing this sort of draw pull idea, but the silver metal definitely goes with my sort of theme. So now I'm going to look at how I can dress this a bit, because, well, why not? I have been through my bits and pieces, and I have selected a few bits to dress my dressing table. I could quite easily have added more, but at the moment I've sort of gone for a sort of generalised, sort of spooky. If I was going to put this into a scene, I would personalise it for the character that I'm thinking it's going to be for. Now, first off, I've got this little skull arrangement. Now, this is a skull bead on top of a silver pony bead with some little crystals stuck on, and that has actually come out of my gift shop florist build I said I was going to be taking apart, as did the red roses. Now, I know that if we're looking at the Addams family, the roses should have their flowers cut off because they're there for the thorns, but they don't really work in miniature, so I've included the little rose buds. They're actually stuck into a bead. This is quite a good sized plastic bead. That is actually all one bead. It's just been stuck in place, and then the flowers have been glued in too. Now I've got a little candlestick which is made from another spacer bead and one of my candles. I've got a little skull pot, which is another bead, a skull bead with a lid made from some cardstock circles, and I've done these little metal ones in the same way. The tray is just a little square sequin that really I would like to stick something in it. So I've stuck a cardstock circle in the bottom as a sort of mat. And then what I might do is actually find something tiny so it looks like there's some little bit of jewellery or something in there. And then I've also found some little tiny vials. Now these are actually left over from my Vampire Hunters box. And they've been squirreled away, and they are just a clear bugle bead. I have to think what that was then, with a little foam punched out circle as a stopper. And then finally I've put a picture frame on the dressing table even. Now I've used Gomez Addams. What better representation of spooky manhood could there be? And I printed a photo out of Gomez, and I made it a little frame using some matchsticks, painted it silver and put it into place. And that's really simple. There's still, as you can see, a lot of room. You could make makeup, you could put letters, anything at all could go on here. There's plenty of room for, as I say, personalisation. I'm really loving how this has come out. I like the finish that I got with the paint. I like these beads that I've used for handles, and I do like the fact that I've got a real mirror, not just, you know, some semi-reflective mirror paper or plastic. And it's that good, I'm having to keep it covered up, but it does work. And yeah, I'm really rather liking it. Now hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please like, comment and subscribe. It all helps my channel, and it lets me know that you've enjoyed what I've done. Also consider ringing the notification bell. I try and upload a video every week. I aim for a Friday, but real life as I say, as a habit of getting in the way. And there's not a lot I can do about that. But until next time, bye.